Welcome to the Men on Purpose podcast, featuring dynamic conversations with emerging and established visionary men on purpose. Thanks for joining us today as we celebrate the men on purpose who are committed, creative, courageous changemakers, living their best, most fulfilling life possible. Now, here's the host of Men on Purpose, Ian Lobas.
All right, everybody, what is up? And we are back in the studio. We're actually in a studio this time, and you're going to hear the sound is a lot different. We've got a home studio now, got professional equipment, got the Rode Podcaster or the Rodecaster Pro podcast mixing board, 2 pro mics, and in this studio with me, I've got my dad. Go ahead.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure. So for those of you that know the show, you know, episode 163 was the one with my dad. We kicked it off with me as the owner of Men on Purpose. We kicked it off with an episode with my dad telling his story. And so where we ended was like around the Bob's Big Boy, enrolling in college, and that's where we're going to pick up. So throughout these episodes with my dad, which will now be once a month, he's going to tell his life story, and we're all going to learn from, you know, somebody who's been in business for 40 years,
something
40
like
plus
that.
years.
Who's counting anymore?
Made a ton of mistakes, ton of success, and we're all just going to hear and listen to the stories, and we're going to learn from it and grow together. So, you know, my promise on this podcast is constant evolution, constant education, empowerment, involvement, so that we are all growing and learning together. To get to that place, wherever it is in your life that you want to get to, we're going to get there together. So we're not going to mess around. Let's just get rocking and rolling. Dad, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for inviting me. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So where we left off, I believe it was with Bob's Big Boy.
Yep.
I had a friend that was working at Bob's Big Boy, and actually he got me the job there. And I started out as a dishwasher with the old Hobart machine. If you guys ever work in a restaurant, you know, you run the dishes through that automatic dishwashing machine to get it halfway clean. So they gave me that job, and I think I was making $1.98 an hour.
What?
That was a lot of money back then.
In the 60s, 70s?
In the 70s.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money back then.
How old were you? 17, 18?
Yeah, probably around 18. But I was working there on the weekends. I also had enrolled in Towson State, is now, I think, Towson University.
Mm-hmm.
I enrolled in college, and so I was working at Bob Big Boys part-time on the weekend. And I was working the breakfast crowd, if you want to call it that, or the church crowd, or whatever you want to call it. And so me and my friend's name was Greg, and he was a good guy. Him and I were washing dishes together, and we would get into food fights and really play around a lot. And that was really the only way to kind of make it through with washing dishes for the last 8 hours.
Yeah.
But there is really some purpose there. What it taught me was responsibility, that, you know, I had to be a certain place at a certain time, and if I showed up late, then there were consequences. But what it also taught me is a little bit about business, because they would bring the trucks would come around back, and we'd have to unload the trucks, count everything in, and make sure that everything that was ordered arrived, and then inventory it, put it away. I'd never done anything like that before, and it was something new, but it was a learning experience, because then once we got everything counted in inventory, we would report that to the general manager, and he'd go, whoa, you're missing this, you're missing that. Now you guys got to make a phone call to the warehouse and tell them you didn't get this stuff. And that's a responsibility that, that I never had. And of course, Towson University, or Towson State, I had enrolled in there as full-time. And it's majoring in accounting, to be honest with you. And my dad was paying for it. And I really kind of spent most of my time at the local pool hall instead of going to class. And that was more playing pool was a major for me than accounting. So,
well, first, for people who are wondering why, because I know there's a lot of people out there that think they need to go and get some fancy business degree or something like that. Did accounting just didn't match up, didn't align with you? What was the deal?
The deal was I went with accounting because a friend of mine was doing accounting.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, cool, this accounting is cool, man. You got to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, I need a major, right? So I'll do it. And so my father agreed to it. He was footing the bills. And I was spending my time at the pool hall. I was making some money there and learning some things about business at the pool hall.
Sure.
I was also learning about the street. And that's probably a better education than anybody can get and start going to college.
Fair.
But at the end of the semester, the report card came out, and my father looked at it and he said, whoa, this does not look good. Maybe accounting's not for you. And I said, well, I don't know. One more semester, Dad. I think I'll get the hang of it.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't going. But I didn't tell him that. I didn't want him to know that. So he gave it one more semester, and the same thing happened. And he said to me, I just don't think this is working out for you. Definitely not working out for me, because I'm spending a lot of money here and we're going nowhere. And so my father said, well, I don't think this is for you. I don't want to spend any more money on it. I'm going to take the rest of that money and I'm going to go out and do something for myself and buy myself a new pickup truck. And I'm like, what? You can't do that to me, Dad. Oh my God, you promised. He goes, the thing is, Glenn, I promised, but you never held up to your side.
It's fair. That's totally fair.
That was an awakening right there. I really learned something from that.
Well, I want to interject something here because it's something that you told me in college that I have some coaching clients that are in college, and really they're more mentees that just come to me for advice and stuff. And one of the things that I tell them is what you told me, which is, I remember I called you from school and I'm like, Dad, I hate it here. Like, I don't want to be in school. I hate school.
I don't remember that
here.
Conversation.
And you said to me, look, I'm paying for it, but I'm not going to tell you what my dad told me, which is, you have to hit a certain level for me to keep paying for it. I don't think that's fair. What I'm telling you is that I know you could get straight A's, but I'm not expecting that because I want you to have an education beyond the classroom, which is only a very small part
Correct.
Of a real world education. College only covers theory. It covers 5% of what you need. And I love that because it took, I watched kids in college work 2 jobs and not party and not hang out. And all they did was basically at 18, 19 years old, they got into the rat race. They were working to pay bills, to go to school, to work to pay bills, to go to school, to get out to work to pay bills. You know what I mean? It just was this crazy cycle. And I love that. It didn't let me off the hook, but it taught me that I need to make sure that I was well balanced and not just focusing all on studies or, and I did fail some classes and I took summer classes like statistics. I hated that course. Really, I just hated the teacher because think about it. I mean, I'm not saying all stats teachers are inevitably boring, but this one was, and I just could not sit there for 2 hours. So I took it at a community college and it was easy and much cheaper. But I also had a very well-rounded education, not in the classroom. You know what I mean? People and experiences and learning things and driving around looking at real estate. It was fun.
Yeah, sure. And for those out there that, you're going to college and if it's not for you, if that's not your purpose, and you really have to find that out in yourself, then it's not for you. And at that particular time, I didn't realize it, but I wasn't ready for that. It was not for me.
Right.
But my father knew it, and he didn't want to, spend the money. He didn't want to spend the money on something that wasn't really doing me any good or him any good.
Right.
The thing with I'm going to go out and buy myself a new pickup truck with your college money. That kind of hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
Now, but I can understand now as I get, as I got older, I understood what he was talking about.
Yeah.
It's really funny because you're always looking at, oh my God, I hope I don't turn like my parents. But in a certain way, you do, and it's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
So that was it for me for college for a while, and my dad, losing my voice here. My dad said, "Okay, well, here's what's next." I'm like, "What's next?" He goes, "Well, there's no more college money. You're gonna have to get a job, and you're gonna have to start paying rent here."
Yikes.
And I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is our house. Why am I paying rent in my own house?" He goes, "Well, you gotta help out now. You gotta help out around here. You've been living a great life here for a long time, and we've really supported you, but now it's time
to buck up."
But what my dad was really saying was, you got to find out what it's really all about.
Yeah.
So that's when I continued to work over Bob's Big Boy, washing dishes. And there was a few times I thought, that's not so bad. Maybe I could do this for the rest of my life. Maybe this is a career for me. But that kind of faded away. But
what was your vision at that time? Because I know there's a lot of people that are listening to this and they might be working dead-end jobs and they're saying, how'd you get out of that? How did you see that or know that you're capable of that, or that you weren't just someone that gets caught in that wheel and cycles that till retirement?
Well, here was my vision at that particular time. Was my purpose wasn't to wash dishes. My purpose was to move up at Bob's Big Boys. That's what I envisioned. And I always looked at the guys that are out there, the short order cooks out on the grills, and I thought, I could do that. And they wore the chef's hat and everything around
official.
the neck. Yeah, they were official, and I'm like, I could do that. And so I continued to wash dishes, and every once in a while I would pop into the kitchen. If one of the chefs got behind, and I would make toast or do whatever they wanted me to do, empty the grease pan or whatever.
So you were taking initiative and going beyond your duties to try and help somebody that was at a higher level.
Yes. Yeah. And I wanted to, at that time, show them that I was interested.
Yeah. So that's a key piece in here for those of you that are listening and not picking up on it. That curiosity and that need to know that you are paying attention and to want to help someone in a higher position, that will propel you forward because that person knows they can count on you.
Correct.
And they're going to be the first one to recommend you for a promotion or for something to move up faster than even the next guy who's technically in line but hasn't shown that initiative or that action take.
Correct. Like my friend just continued to wash dishes.
Right.
And, there was like a loudspeaker and the chef would call to the back. Can I get some help back here? Can I get some help? And my friend was like, man, we're washing dishes. I mean, let somebody else help them. I'm like, nah, I go help them.
Yeah.
So I took that initiative to go in and do whatever it is they needed done.
Yeah.
That was a lot of goal work. Put the toast down, do some French fries, this kind of thing. But I'd never done anything like that before. And I thought,
it was fun and new.
This is something different than washing an eggy dish. So eventually it got to the point where I was being called in regularly to help these guys out. And we would work the breakfast. You have to go in at 4:00 in the morning and you have to get all the meat done and get ready to go, because open up at 7.
Yeah.
So eventually they were calling me in to be like a sous chef, work in the commissary.
Moving up.
Yeah, cut the lettuce up, do this, do that, bring this up, get me this. And I thought, well, this is what I want. It's working out for me. That was my purpose at that point in time. So I got to the point where they said, okay, we'll give you a shot on the grill. You want to take a shot at the grill? I'm like, yeah, man, I'll take a shot at the grill. They said, it's going to be really fast and it's going to be really busy. And you're going to smell like eggs and you're going to smell like sausage.
Bacon.
When you go home, you won't want to see another egg.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm all right with that. But by that time, I had watched and observed so much that I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, what was I, 18 or 19, my purpose was, I'm going to be the really good chef. Short order cook.
Yeah.
Is what they call it about Big Boys, not a chef.
Right.
So they put me on a Saturday morning, and I got on the grill, man, and I got hammered.
Yeah.
Hammered.
The busiest day.
Oh, scrambled this, over easy. Oh, over hard. No, they're not right. No, this isn't right. But I thought I gotta ride this out because I know I can do it.
Right.
I just have to ride it out. And
but what was in your mind at that point? Were you thinking you're just going to move your way up in Bob's Big Boy, or were you thinking like, I know this is a stepping stone to something else? Did you know that at that time?
I felt it was like at that point in time, I was really interested in restaurant work, restaurant business, and I thought, well, you know what, I could do this, and then maybe I could like be assistant manager, and then maybe I could do like general manager and run a whole store.
Sure.
So
you hadn't expanded your mind as to what was possible yet. You were seeing the possibilities of that silo.
Yes.
Not the world of possibilities out in the world.
Correct.
Okay, that's cool.
Right. I was still in that little box.
Yeah.
That, okay, this is my world, and how can I make it better for myself?
Yeah.
And how can I move forward with the purpose that I have? So that's where we were at that point in time.
What was it that actually helped you get to that next level? You weren't back in college yet, right?
No.
Okay. How long did you work at Bob's Big Boy until you didn't go back to college right away?
No.
Okay.
No.
It was night school later on.
Yeah, everything was night school, and I paid for it.
So what was it? What was that defining moment or that turning point where you realized, I can't stay at Bob's Big Boy. I need to have a bigger vision here? Because I know that there are people listening who think that they're the only ones stuck, when all of us have been stuck before. So what was that defining moment where you thought, okay, the world's a lot bigger than Bob's Big Boy. I need to expand here.
Well, I was always inquisitive, and one day I went down and talked to the general manager. Him and I gotten kind of friendly. He was a Marine.
Yeah.
And he was, one of those really tough guys, and push on, man, come on, put another burger on it. You can do it. I'll be out,
Yeah.
And so I thought, I want good hands. I want to find out how did he do it? How did he get there? And we had some talks, and he actually opened up a little bit to me. And he said, I said, I'd like to one day be like you are, like run my own store. And he goes, are you going to school or anything? I said, nah, it didn't work out for me. He goes, got to get some schooling, man. At least get a couple years under your belt.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to let you run a store without it. I can tell you that right now. It's not going to happen for you. And maybe that was like a turning point at that time. And
Sure.
I thought about that, and I thought, okay, so if I don't get an education, then I'm not going to go any further here.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided that I would I'd go back to school. And I went back and said, Dad, guess what? I like your brand new truck. He goes, what's going on? I'm like, I think I'm ready to go back to school. He goes, well, that's good. I'll support you.
Not financially.
Right. I said, well, I'm gonna need some money because money's gone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you, but we had a deal. And when you don't hold up to your side, there are consequences.
Yeah.
And your consequence ain't money, so you're going to do it on your own.
It's interesting. So I want to back up for people that are listening. It was what I'm hearing is that, and kind of something you taught me is, if you're not happy with your life, it's not about going and reading a book or going to a course. It's about a mindset of curiosity. And that mindset will propel you to search for things and open your brain to find things and let the universe kind of deliver to you, versus okay, I need to get out of here. I'm going to go get an education, or I need to get out of here. I want to level up. I need to go read five of these business books or whatever. There might be a curiosity in the next steps, but there's not a curiosity in knowing what someone at a higher level did. So I think this is a perfect case of you need a mentor. You need a mentor. You need a coach. You need a leader. You need to follow somebody that's at the level that you want to be. Whether you're at the bottom or the rung underneath them, you got to be going to a person and saying, how did you do it? I'm curious. I want to know. I'm willing to help you. I'll go to the chef and I'll help him crack eggs and fill in. But can I ask you a couple questions after work? And you're trading time for their info.
Right.
And that's huge. That's how I've propelled. You were that first person for me. And then I learned to just put myself in a position where I needed to be needed by someone at a high level. When I started in real estate, when I started in coaching, I put myself out there and said, I want this and I'm willing to give you this. Are you open? And just to say that, I was very nervous in the beginning. I remember one of my mentors, I took a Xanax and drank a couple beers just to be able to say and ask him this, because I was so afraid of hearing no. And then what happened when he said, and nobody's ever asked me that you're crazy enough for me to say yes to. I'm going to work the hell out of you. And I just said, fine, that's great, because I know I'm going to go farther faster knowing that I have a mentor and someone that's leading me from a really high level. And that's what our coaching and our front runner business is about, is we're leading you from a really high level. So whether you're level 1 or level 50, if you want to get to 90, you just got to go high level.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this Marine, I believe at that time, however gruff he was, really told me what reality was.
Yeah.
And he was my mentor. At that time, I didn't know it, but something clicked, and my brain kind of woke up, and I began asking myself, what is the probability if I do what this guy's saying?
To what, get into Bob's Big Boy Academy or?
No. Get some more education.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'm not stuck at Bob's Big Boy anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was trying to tell me. I think he was trying to tell me, you have unlimited opportunity.
Right.
But you're keeping yourself in this Bob's Big Boy box. That's all you're thinking.
It's a safe box. It's a safe bet.
Yeah.
You can rise up in this, and I call it a silo, or it's a column. You can rise up in this column all day, but it's not linear. It's not a forward trajectory. It's just an upward momentum, but not for the future, just for the now.
Right. It's just a straight line move.
Right. Which is fine. You got to do that to get to the next level, but see the next level.
If that's what you want, I always say you have to do what makes you happy.
Sure.
In the business world, I've worked with guys that are making outrageous money.
Yeah.
Outrageous money. A lot of my friends are making a lot more money than I was. But when it all boils down, they weren't happy.
Right.
You can make $1 million a year and not be happy. What's it worth to you?
Nothing.
And then on the other end spectrum, I have people that have good ideas. I had friends that had good ideas, but they never acted on it.
So you got to take action.
The old saying is, you can go to your grave saying, I shoulda, I woulda, I coulda, but that's not action. And you have to take action. And you have to take chances. You have to get out of that box I was talking about.
What, the comfort zone?
Yes. If you really want to do something and you have a burning desire to do it, you will find a way to do it.
Yeah.
But it has to come from the heart.
Not the brain.
Not the brain.
Right. That's a great point.
It has to come from the heart. You have to have that burning desire to do it. And many people really don't do that. It's just not action. It's just talk.
It's interesting because you mentioned the limitless opportunity, but you don't remember telling me that. Because remember, I got the tattoo on my arm, limitless possibility. I got that from you, but you don't remember that. So for those of you that don't know me, I have a tattoo on my left arm that says limitless possibilities because the guy on the other mic used to say, there's limitless possibilities for you in this world. Your brain and you are the ones that limit those. And so it always stuck with me, and I just decided to get that tattooed because I chose it. And it meant a lot to me, and it was something that I wanted to see every day and be reminded that if there's anything in life limiting me, it's me causing that. It's not society, not the government, not the
Correct.
job, or this guy or that guy did this, or the guy in front of me at Starbucks. It's me. It's my choice, and it's my responsibility. And so it's a constant reminder that we all have limitless possibilities. And for those of you right now that are shaking your head, no, I don't. It's you that's limiting it. Like, check yourself. You're limiting you. And most of it's in your mindset and skills. Most of it's in your mindset and the fact that you won't go out and get the skills or go out and take that chance or ask that mentor for help or to push yourself out of your comfort zone enough to learn something new, to be dangerous or to be profitable or more profitable. And people just settle in.
Well, we react to our environment. We're always reacting to our environment. So what we bring in, what we see, our brain reacts to that. And then we get into a what if? What if this doesn't work? What if I can't pay the bills? What if? So as soon as you get into that mindset of what if, you are not going to move ahead.
Deadly cycle.
You do get into a deadly cycle. What if? So until you can get out of that mindset and work and think from your heart, not your brain, because what your brain's telling you is what's going on in the environment.
Yeah, it's protecting you.
Right. This is going on in the environment. Oh my God, my next door neighbor tried this and went out of business. Now this is happening. But we have to get out of that what if, and that gets you out of that box, and you become purposeful and more creative. And then the world begins to open up to you.
Yeah.
It's never failure in my vocabulary. It's never failure. Because life's a journey. Life's a journey along the way. You experience things. Some things work great, some don't. That's life. There's no port to life. There's no, okay, this is where we're going, like if you're taking a trip, this is where we're going. There's no end to that. There's no port.
That's a good line. There's no port to life.
It's just a journey. It's a journey of life. And what you need to do is you have to be in the moment in life. You can't think about, okay, oh my God, what happened to Johnny yesterday? That might happen to me. Or what's going to happen tomorrow? If you occupy yourself with what ifs, you're never going to get out of that box and do what your real purpose is. And some people really never define that.
Most people never define that. Most people.
Okay, I was trying to be nice.
No, there's no nice here. I mean, it's reality. It's not nice or not. It's reality. Most people think that that job or that group of friends or that hobby is their purpose. And it's unfortunate because if there's something that can be taken away from you, like, you know, like there are car guys who are car guys. It's that guy with that car. I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just talking because we're in the car guy world. And if that car got repoed or wrecked, you're now not that guy. But you don't know who you are because you were the guy with that car at that show all the time. Here comes the guy with the X car. And here comes that guy. And now you're the guy that used to have the car. Now your identity is, hey, look at my pictures of the car I used to have. I used to be that guy. And the identity can be taken from you.
Correct. And that's through materialistic things.
Also, same with work.
And most people live that way.
Yeah. Same with work though.
Yes.
I am and this.
I'm an accountant.
Right.
I'm a lawyer.
Right.
That's me. What if that's taken away?
Right.
Then who are you really?
But that's what happens in retirement to most people is they've been doing this since they were 15 or 20,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and now they're in their 60s and they say, shit, I got to go back to work. I got to do something. I got to do something. Be productive every day. But they don't realize that they need to just find who they are.
Right.
Because they've never found that. It's always been, I'm the lawyer, I'm the dad, I'm the husband, I'm the, provider, I'm the this, whatever. But you never said and defined who you are.
So what you're really saying, Ian, is you're not comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable in your own skin.
I am.
I'm saying if you let your position or material things identify you,
right,
when that goes away, again, your perception from the outside world is what you're looking at.
Yep.
You don't know who you are.
Yeah, and I've been there, and you've been there, and we're going to talk about it as you continue to tell your life story. And like when I left the business, which we'll talk about in more depth, but when I left the business, I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. I was lost in life. Without money and without my position, I didn't know who I was. And then very quickly, I got into being a top producing real estate agent. But that became my identity. And as when my daughter was born, I realized that now I'm a top producing real estate agent, a dad, a husband, a provider, a guy that likes these type of shows. Who the hell are you if all that stuff went away? And that became the journey. That became my coaching journey and my life journey, which was, all right, I'm going to find out who I am because I know there's a lot of people out there like me who don't know who they are and they don't want to keep going through this vicious cycle. So I'm gonna be a front runner and I'm going to lead this myself, and then I'm gonna teach myself how to lead other people through the changes in their lives that they want to make to live the life that they choose and not have to run that cycle forever. And so that's just a quick snippet of that, but that's how I built a coaching business and subsequently got involved in Front Runner, our mastermind and event business.
Well, it's hard to know who you are.
Yeah.
It's not, there's not like, okay, I'm this and write one sentence.
Yeah.
You have to really you got to dig deep inside to figure out who you are.
Sure.
What you could do is figure out who you aren't.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Figure out who you're not. And then you're on your way to figuring out who you are.
Yeah, I like that. Figure out who you aren't. So in this, let me spin back to...
Well, figure out who you're not or who you aren't.
Right.
Okay.
Spin back to Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah.
Are you figuring out that you are not a Bob's Big Boy lifer?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So I'm figuring out who I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, so I did go back to, I did everything at night school.
Well, when did that happen?
That happened in,
So you know that this isn't
78, I guess.
okay.
I don't know, 76. I had other jobs along the way, but nothing worked out. I started going to Catonsville Community College at the time. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
It was a good college.
Wait. Don't back up, because are there any lessons in bartending or any of those jobs after Bob's Big Boy? Are there any lessons that you learned there, or because it's all sort of a step?
Yeah, I wasn't doing any bartending.
What about at Martin's?
Well, that's later down the road.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But we can talk about it if you like. We can skip through that.
No. Let's go in order.
No, I left Bob's Big Boy, and what got me interested in transportation was when those trucks were coming in. I was on them trucks, and where did it all come from? How does it get here?
It's curiosity again.
Yeah, what's going on with this? So I got a job as a shipping clerk.
Was this after Bob's Big Boy?
Yes.
Okay.
As a shipping clerk at we're now into the 70s, 73, I think. It's a long way back, but 72, 73. Fact checkers can check it.
Fact checker would be Mom.
Yeah. Good luck with that. But I got a job as a shipping clerk at a company called Flynn and Emmerich down in Woodlawn. It was a machine shop.
Yeah.
They had a foundry, and at that time there was Western Electric, way before a lot of people's time.
Right.
They were making splice case housings out of cast iron.
What? Oh, yeah.
The ones that you see splicing the wires together on telephone lines.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
plastic now, but they used to be cast iron. Yeah, I know. And I got the job of handling all the shipping and receiving at that machine shop. And
how did they give you that job?
I lied.
Oh, okay. That was a quick answer.
And you can fact check that too. But I didn't have any experience. I told them that I was in shipping and receiving in Bob's.
Well, technically you were.
I was.
If you think about it.
But I didn't know how to write a bill of lading. I didn't know anything like that.
Right.
All I did was just signing stuff off and checking stuff. But they gave me the job anyway. And I thought, wow, this is a good opportunity for me to figure this one out.
Right.
Well,
let me
I like that side of the business anyway.
Let me call something out. This is forget about the lying part. This is a fake it till you make it part. This is a learn on the job part. So don't, I meet too many people that say, I'll start that business I'll do this when I get here 3 years from now after I learn this, but they're forgetting it's progress over perfection. And so what you're saying there, and I just want to call this out to the audience, is you forget about the lying part. Who cares? You faked it. You got in, but you had a curiosity mindset, which everybody needs a curiosity mindset. You're curious about how it worked. Then you figured it out while you're on the job. Correct. You didn't want to lose the job.
Correct.
Which severely, exponentially, severely, same thing, but it exponentially gives you growth to your learning curve.
Correct.
So instead of a learning curve being over 3 years, you probably learned in 1 month. What you needed to do is not get fired.
Yeah, I almost got fired.
Yeah.
But I learned pretty quickly. I really did. I started putting stuff together. I figured out there wasn't any internet. So I would go to the library and go,
how to do shipping.
Shipping 101. And look up how do you fill out a bill of lading. I did stuff like that on my own time to figure it all out.
It's curiosity.
Yeah. So I became really, really efficient at it. I became really good. And it goes back to what my father used to tell me. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. What matters is you're the best at what you do. You're the best at what you do. Meaning, if you're sweeping the floor, be the best floor sweeper. Be the best painter. Be the best welder. Be the best lawyer. And that is a purpose of satisfaction for you. So I did. I became, and I started really drilling down and getting deeper into the business of Flynn and Emmerich. And I saw that the things that they were doing before I got there were really inefficient in transportation.
Yeah.
So I put a little program together. When I say program, it's not.
No, like an internet, like
Young guy, it's not internet program. It's write it all out program.
Right.
And I presented it to the general manager, and he was like on fire about it. He was like, "Wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job, man." And Douglas, his name was Douglas, real tall guy, and he was always like, I'm gonna set the world on fire. I'm doing this, and he was always like, I'm gonna be who they said. I'm gonna be they said. I'm like, I couldn't get it at first.
Yeah.
But he goes, Glenn, what you want to be is they said.
Say that again.
He would tell me, what you want to be always is they said.
Got it.
In other words, he's saying, I'm the guy
The
up
authority.
here. I'm the authority.
Yeah.
And the guys down here said, they said that I have to do it this way. They said that it has to be this way. They want it done this way. And that was interesting. That really struck my curiosity also. And what was interesting in Flynn and Emmerich is they came to me and said, we're going to expand the warehouse. I said, all right, that sounds good. We're going to add another 30 feet on. It was a long metal building,
Yeah.
One of those buildings you put up with screws and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just going to add on to
Like a steel building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we want you to do is go into the drafting department and draft that addition out. And tell us where you would place all the racks. And all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Warehouse logistics.
Yeah. I said, I've never done that before. And Douglas said, so
You'll figure it out.
you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
How much did that help your confidence in yourself?
Oh, my confidence went through the ceiling.
Was there ever a time where you said, like, I don't know, I think I got to get out of here, where it's pushing you out of your comfort zone too much and you were afraid of failure? You know, a lot of people do that. They won't take that. They won't ask for that or be in a position to receive that because they don't want to be put in a position where they can fail miserably.
Yeah. Well, what is it? The Peter principle?
Mm-hmm.
Keep moving up until you fail.
Right.
I think that's what it's called. But no, I accepted the challenge. And I think that goes back to when I was 11 years old and my mother died, and I said, it's on me, baby.
Right.
I got to do this.
On my own.
On my own.
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
Hmm.
And I still say I'll figure it out.
So take that, audience, as a note, which is use something from your past. For those of you that don't know what my dad's talking about, go back to episode 163 and listen to that. Mom passed away when you were 11 years old.
Correct.
And you were on your own.
On my own.
So there's a formula in landmark education, the genesis of identity. And it's something's wrong, right? Or something's not right here.
Correct.
I'm on my own. I gotta figure this out. And let me pull that up and I'll tell you exactly what it is. But that's what happened to you. And so for those of you listening, you have to use something from your past to press you and push you.
Correct.
And yeah, you might form an identity around it, but so it's genesis of identity is there's something wrong here. I don't belong. I'm on my own.
Correct.
And I love that. I love that from Landmark. They put it into some real neat, easy box. And that's what you said is I'm on my own. But you figured out how to figure it out.
Right.
And that became your power.
Right. That's correct. Because I allowed myself to open up to those other curiosities.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's saying I can do it. Maybe I can do it.
Right. Oh, let somebody else see in you what you don't see in yourself.
Yeah. He says I can do it, so maybe I can do it. And then flip back to I'm on my own. So I got to do something. That's where we went to with that. I think even though I was young and none of this is dawning on me at that particular time.
Sure.
But it's in my mind. My mind is saying, just go back. You know how to do this. Go back. And I did it. I did that. I've never done a draft in my life, and this is not CAD.
Right. This is paper and rulers and compasses.
This is that big table that you'd stand at, and there was an old guy in there. There was smoke back then in the office. And all he did was puff on cigars,
make your eyes burn,
blow the smoke over to my drafting table, and he would laugh. But we got along really well. Yeah, he did help me on a couple of things.
Sure.
I also understood that I didn't want to be a draftsman.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I didn't want to do that.
No.
Okay, so that worked out. It worked out really well. I stayed there for a while, and unfortunately, Western Electric, or the telephone company at that time, was a monopoly. They got split up, and that was the end of it. The family shut down, and so the machine shop went with it. So happens.
Yep.
And then I'm back to.
How long were you there?
I was there about 3 years.
It's interesting because I think I know every story that you ever had, but I never knew that you worked at that place.
Yeah.
That's something that for those of you that listen to the episodes with Meredith and I, my wife, I discover things on the episode because we're sharing. And so let this be another lesson that, like, if you want to learn, you got to share. And then that person shares. And then you both learn from each other while you're sharing together things that you've been through, lessons that you've learned. That's why we're doing this, not just to hear ourselves talk, but to learn more about. Like, I thought I knew every single story that you ever had. I didn't know the Western Electric.
You don't know all of it.
So what happened after
some
you
things
left there?
we're not going to be able to share here.
We'll have an R-rated version of Mental Focus.
Come back next month. We'll have R-rated. So that went downhill real quick, and after they started going with the plastic, and so I was out of work, and I went home. I was still at home. I went home and I said, "Well, I got laid off." And my father said, "So?" I'm thinking, aren't you gonna feel some pity for me or something? He goes, "So what? Go and get another job."
Did you need that from him at that point? Did you need that?
I could have used it.
Yeah.
I could have used a hug or something.
Yeah.
But that's not my father, old Italian guys. They're tough guys.
Sure.
8th grade education, but he was street smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart. Go and get another job.
Well, hang on. Were you? I want to try and find lessons in everything you're saying. Were you afraid to ask for that, or did you not know? Remember I told you that when the shipping business, you were shifting everything and shutting parts of it down. Remember this when we were on vacation for your 65th birthday. We were sitting at that restaurant in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And you and I had never communicated about this, but I said to you, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you because I didn't understand how to talk to you about the pain that I was feeling, and I was so afraid of the pain that you were feeling that I was just going to add to it.
Right.
So at that point, even though you were in your 20s, did you know how to ask for what you wanted, especially emotionally, or were you just unavailable?
Unavailable.
Right. Because I felt that too, not because of you, but because I just hadn't allowed myself to learn about my emotions and all the facets of emotional registration at that point. So most of the time people just stay away or stay quiet.
Yeah, I think at the time I was looking for a different reaction from my father.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're going to be all right, man.
Hey, he's going to be all right. Other than that, I didn't really expect him to say, "So what? Go get another job."
Yeah.
And walk out of the room.
It's painful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did. I got another job, but it didn't last long. I was working at a printing company, and this is when this is before they went with do you know what cold type is?
I don't.
Okay. You certainly know what a linotype machine is, and
typesetting.
Typesetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that from my tours at Colonial Williamsburg.
There you go. And I think it was called Frizzell Williams or something like that. Anyway, the guy that owned it was a pig farmer, and his father had left the business to him. He really wanted, but
sure,
there were 25 printers working there and families, and I'm sure he wanted, trying to help them.
Yeah.
But the job they gave me was, we want you to work the northwest side of Washington, D.C., go down and talk to these people, and sell this typesetting. Sales.
With no sales experience.
Well, no, I told them I had sales experience.
Oh, okay. Fake it till you make it.
Right. So I said, yeah, not a problem. So he gave me a car.
Cool.
Gave me a car and gave me a map. No GPS at that time, buddy.
No, it's how you taught me how to drive a truck.
Right.
Map.
They gave me a map and said, here they all are. Go down, this guy, they need typesetting for textbooks. They need typesetting for this and for this and this. And so that's what I did.
Just cold called on people?
Went in.
It's so, it's just so bizarre to think about that, like door knocking today. And I know it's prevalent in the real estate world, but door knocking for a business is just like, how do you do that? I was never like that. I mean,
it wasn't pretty.
No.
But I did get them business. I got a lot of no's, obviously, and a lot of people like, get the F out of here.
Right.
But I did get them business. And I learned a lot about Washington, D.C., getting lost.
At least you were in Northwest.
Yeah.
In a pretty nice area, Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Well, some of the areas weren't so great. Like I pulled up one day to a company, and I got out of the car, and this lady's beating her husband with a barn.
Nice.
Like, do I want to be here?
No.
But I learned a lot out of that business. I learned about business, and I started learning how to sell. What to do and what not to do.
What were some of the big takeaways from that first cold sales job?
Well, the first thing was call the people before you walk in there.
Yeah.
Call them.
Right.
They didn't tell me that.
I'm going to be stopping by.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It makes sense, right? But I said I sold before, so they thought I just automatically knew that. I learned that, and persistence.
Yeah.
And truthfulness. Be true.
Be true, honest, or true to yourself, or what?
Be true to yourself. Be true to the customer. Be honest to yourself. Be honest to the customer. Build a bond through honesty and truthfulness.
It's interesting.
And find what they
need.
Yeah. And fix what they need fixed.
And we'll get more into that with the beginning of the shipping business.
We'll get into that at another time. So,
but then what was the next phase of? How long was left at that place?
About a year.
That's not bad.
No, it got sold. So
that
business again.
How old were you at this point? It was like mid-70s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went back home and told my father I got laid off again. He goes, so get another job.
Right.
Where's my $20 for rent? I'm like, shit.
Yeah, can't do it.
Right. And at the time, if you filed for unemployment, you couldn't file. There's no computer to file on.
Right.
So you had to go to Dolphin Street.
Oh, yeah.
And stand in line.
Yeah.
And sit there and wait for your number to be called.
That's the DLR building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that. But then I went down there and there was like a line. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's not me. So At the time, I was dating a girl, a nice lady. And
not my mom.
No,
yeah,
not your mother. No, there were a lot more for that. And I said, I lost my job. And she goes, well, God, don't tell my mother. I'm like, why? She goes, I'm not allowed to date anybody that have a job.
Yeah, she motivated you.
I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, she goes home and tells her mother anyway. I got a phone call. My mom wants to talk to you. I'm like, I'm not married to your mother. I'm not even married to you.
Right, what the hell?
She has a job for you. I'm like, a job? What kind of job? She'll talk to you when you get here.
See, this is a story that I picture in my head. Before you tell it, I want to tell you how it occurs for me. Like you walk up these dark apartment stairs, and you bang on this door, and the door opens, and the lady looks and goes, "Oh, you're the loser. Check this out. You want to date my daughter? Here's what you need to do. Other than that, get out." That's how I picture it, to motivate you, because back then you were a defiant guy.
Yes.
Right, and you were. There wasn't many people telling you what you could and couldn't do.
Correct.
You would just say F off or no,
right,
just to be that guy.
Or if you tell my kids, I'm going to do it anyway.
Right. Which we share that similarity.
Yeah.
I curbed it a lot younger, I think.
I think you did.
Yeah. No, I'm still pretty defiant, but I think I'm educated defiant.
There were some things I would tell you and you did it anyway, and then you had consequences.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on in another episode too. Probably the CO6 story is probably the best.
That's the best.
Yeah, we'll tell that later. But so tell the story of when you when you met this lady.
Yes,
this is a turning point. This is a big turning point.
This is a big turning point in my life. Yeah. Believe it or not. This is what propelled me into where I am today. So I drive over there, and it wasn't a dark apartment. They had a really nice house. Her father was a pharmacist, so they had money.
Yeah.
And I go in, I forget her name. I go in, she goes, when you want something to drink, it's real nice to me.
Yeah.
Not
at all like I see it in my mind.
Right. I'm like, okay, so when are the claws going to come out?
Right.
So she sat down and she said, so you're not working? I said, no, I was working for a company and they got sold and they let me go. She goes, well, I got a job for you. On Monday, I think this was like Thursday, Friday. On Monday, I made an appointment for you to go down and talk to the owner of this business, who I worked for many, many years until I got married. And they're interested in talking to you. I said, well, I do sales. She goes, well, that's all right. That's fine. No. I said, well, what kind of business is it? She goes, it's a custom house broker. I said, oh, I'm going to be selling custom houses? I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, who would?
Right. I'm like, what?
Who would know that?
Right. And she goes, no, not custom houses. It's a custom house broker. Import.
Customs house, like
right.
The one downtown.
Like the customs.
Yeah.
U.S. Customs. You want to be working for them.
For those of you that don't know what that is, that's the governing body of all importations into the country, right?
Correct.
That's like the easy way to tell you about it. They govern everything: our tariffs, our duties, our taxes, anything that's coming into this country. Does customs? Well, they do exports too.
Yeah, they do exports.
Yeah. And they oversee. They're the governing body on
yes.
trade in this country.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I don't have a job. So, and I like this girl, and I don't want to get thrown out here. So I said, I'll do it. She goes, you have a suit? I said, no, I don't have a suit. I said, I've never had a suit. She goes, where are you getting one? And we go out, I get fitted for a suit. She buys me a suit.
Nice. You gotta call that lady.
Yeah, gives me a haircut and blah, 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 blah. Nah, it's not a good idea because I didn't part well with her daughter.
But she really believed in you. So, like, why do you think that was? Because remember, there are always people that believe in us when we don't think they should, or we miss it. Why the hell? I mean, it wasn't just to date her daughter. She had to see something in you.
I don't know. Maybe she did.
She had to have. She wasn't going to put her ass on the line.
Or her daughter said, "Mom, I really like this guy. You got to get him a job."
Maybe.
I don't know.
Fitted for a suit and haircut and looking sharp.
Right. Took Zelda to dinner.
Nice.
Yeah. So I went down. It was on Redwood Street. R.G. Hovelman.
Yeah.
They handled the Volkswagen account.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Big account. Volkswagen North America. Everything coming in was handled through this company, and even Porsche was handled. So I interviewed, and they said, "Okay, great."
How old were you?
22.
Really?
Maybe 21.
Yeah.
You can fact check that, Susan. And they said, "Great, you can start right away." I'm like, this is awesome.
Right. Good money.
I'm in an office setting.
Yeah.
Good money, more money now for me.
Right.
I think it was like $7,500 a year.
Really?
It was good money. Well, it's good money
the 70s.
then.
Yeah.
Good money then. So I thought, man, this is awesome. And I'm working in an office setting, and I got my desk and chair and
moving up.
I could my own telephone. So the supervisor says, "Show up, start right away, come in. We'll put you right to work."
But did he tell you what the job entailed?
Not really.
Oh.
I didn't really ask.
You just knew.
I was just excited to
Yeah.
be accepted into that fraternity.
Sure.
So I came in, I had my tie on, my suit. I was looking good. I even shaved. I came in, and his name was Ray, my supervisor, and I went over to him and said, "Good morning, I'm ready to start." He looks at me very strange. He goes, "Why are you wearing a suit?" I'm like, "I thought I was doing sales." He goes, "You're not doing sales, you're a messenger."
Oh.
He goes, "Run all the documents around." That's what you're doing. You're running the documents around the city for us. All the steamship lines, all the different places.
This is a fun job, actually.
Yeah, he goes, you're over there. You're over there in the mail room.
Right.
That's where you're starting.
But you didn't have a desk, or did you?
No.
Oh.
I thought I had a desk
Yeah.
because I was sitting at a desk. When I was getting interviewed, I thought, wow, it's my desk. I never worked in an office before.
Clarity is power. However, if you would have known that it would have been the mailroom, you probably wouldn't have.
I probably would have said,
not for me.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But, at that point in time, I was like, well, I got to give it a shot. Maybe there's an opportunity here for me. Maybe there's, something I can make of myself with this, and I can maybe move forward and figure out what this is all about, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just knew people were streaming on the phone, and paper was flying all over the place. But that kind of environment excited me, and that may be one reason why I stayed.
Well, it's a fast pace. I mean, I grew up in the shipping business. I know it until I was 30 years old. That's all I knew, and it is very fast paced, and it is very intense, and
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. You're talking about people's goods that you're not shipping. You're not shipping cables that people don't need. We're shipping stuff like these are cars. This has a shelf life on it before the next model comes out. Before dealers have to get this thing a lot to sell.
Or it's retail. It's got to get to the store.
Right.
It's
perishable.
It's perishable. It's crab meat. It's got to go to the restaurants. We can't play with this. Let's go.
Right.
So I kind of fed on that environment. You want to keep going? Or?
Yeah. Let's we'll wrap at we'll wrap this story, and then we'll pick up, because this is your entrance into the shipping business, which you ran for the next 30 years.
Yes.
You think about it, or no, not more.
I'm still running.
More than that, yeah, almost 50 years. No, yeah, 40, between 40 and 50 years, and we'll calculate that.
This was 1976.
Yeah,
that's when I started.
Yeah,
and I think I got my license in 83.
Well, I want you to talk about that, but the getting a license and becoming a licensed customs broker, I want you to, let's save that for the next one.
Yeah,
we have some good nuggets here. I've been taking a lot of notes.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so this episode was a transition period episode where you're transitioning in life, you're understanding work, a little bit more about yourself. I don't think we truly know about ourselves until the end, but maybe even we don't find out at that point. But you're transitioning as who you are, your purpose, your position in life, your value, and that's really applicable to a lot of people who are listening because a lot of people just go through life. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're doing it. They don't know their purpose. I mean, one of the big things that we do both in our coaching business and our front runner events and our mastermind is, I'm looking at my board here, like we have a huge program and exercise to take people through finding your mission and purpose in life and identifying it.
What's interesting though, if you look at this timeline, you're not going to look and go, okay, my absolute purpose is, your purpose is in segments.
Yeah, and it's evolving.
And it's always evolving until you don't want it to evolve any further.
Right.
And then your purpose is stuck right there. And it's not because you can't evolve further. It's because your brain's telling you you don't want to go any further.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're being influenced by the outside environment.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Which most people are influenced by the outside environment or by situations they got themselves into and they, if they had a kid too young or if they got a job that they're kind of stuck in, it's great money, but they hated it. Their choices affected
But then that little thing comes in called fear.
Yep.
Something happens. This is, again, outside environment. Something happens in the outside environment, and then the fear takes over.
Yeah.
And then when the fear takes over, you're paralyzed and you can't move further.
And then you're done. You basically have given up.
Right. And then you're sitting there going, I hate this.
Right. But it's okay because you'll start to justify. I have a lot of coaching clients, they'll say when they first join is, I hate it. I don't love my life, but I make a good living, and I have benefits, and I have some paid time off, and I get to go on some cool vacations with the job. And so they start to justify and live within that world, not create the world that they truly want. And all you're going to have at the end is regrets.
Yes.
Tons of regrets.
I was never really anyone to, I know this now, I was never built to work for somebody.
Right.
I never was. I don't think you are either.
Mm-hmm.
Except for
you.
I don't like people telling me who don't know, and there's a lot of that in my business.
Yep.
I don't like people telling me who don't know what to do.
Right.
And I want to control my own destiny.
Yep.
And if you want to control your own destiny, then you have to get out of that box. And you've got to take away the ifs. Fear is paralyzing.
Right.
You got to get rid of that. You got to deal with that and get rid of that fear. You can't live in the past. What happened in the past is the past. It's gone. We're not saying forget about it.
Right.
But move forward from it.
Yep. Can't compare yourself to others, which is what you always have told me, which is something that has paralyzed me before. And I'm sure a lot of other people too, you included, like seeing what other people have or what they do or what they're like and comparing yourself, not modeling, but comparing yourself to them is a death sentence.
I think the biggest mistake I've seen in business with people is you begin to live somebody else's life.
Yeah.
How they see you, that's how you begin to live.
Right.
And now you're stuck.
There's a cycle.
What do they think about me? What if I say the wrong thing?
Yep.
What if I don't do the right thing? What if I don't dress right? Then you're stuck.
Yep.
And maybe for some of you, it's probably going to sound hard ass, which you can't live that way.
You can't though, but people do.
Well,
I have
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. They do all the time.
You have to figure out how to break through that.
Yes.
You have to figure out how to break through that. And this is a perfect segue into, like, none of these episodes are sponsored. This is just what I do for a living. Coaching, high level coaching, life coaching, mindset coaching, personal performance mastery coaching, and then our front runner events, which are 3 and 4 day events, some 1 day, that take you through a very, very, very concentrated and purposeful journey of creating a life that you truly want. And that's like, if you don't have that, if there are things that we said today that remind you of your life, and you are in a position where you want to change and you just don't know how, or you just don't know who to go to, well, you got us. And between all of us here, my dad, my wife, my mom, like, everybody's got, and Aaron, everybody's got your back, and we can help you through things. So if you feel like you were touched and inspired in some way, and you just want some more answers or some more clarity, we're not going to bite. People who are on purpose take action. Meredith says it every episode. People who are on purpose take action. So hit up the website. It'll be in the show notes, ianlobas.com/apply, and book a call with us. It's not going to hurt anything. You're just going to, I can guarantee you're going to gain some knowledge. You're going to gain some insight about your life and about some things you can do to get some shifts going. It's small incremental shifts that'll add up to the big ones. So it'll be in the show notes. You can go to mentalpurposepodcast.com, or main website is our website, ianlobas.com/apply, and book a call and just tell us what's going on in your life and how we might be able to help you change it. It's super easy. Or you can go to the website and sign up for one of our front runner events, which we've got one coming in December, which is a 1-dayer. We've got one coming up in January, which is a 4-day event. I'm going to tell you right now, these are mind-blowing events, not only because I help host them, but because I'm the guy responsible, along with Aaron, to making sure these are transformational events. So if you're looking for something that shifts your life in the 4 days, we got you. Our mission is to make sure that weekend that you come to, that is the shift point that you'll look back in 50 years and go, those guys and that event, that's where my life changed. That's our mission, and we're guaranteeing that. If you put in the work, we got you on it. So that wraps up our episode. Next time, we're going to talk about basically getting into the shipping business, and then like working for them, working for the next company, and then eventually starting your own business, which this is when things are going to get real juicy when it comes to fear and success, and
yes,
faking it until you're making it. And
you don't want to miss this one.
No, so this is episode 2.
So keep coming back.
The Dad Chronicles. This is episode 2. You'll be listening to episode. Just keep coming back, and then, like I said, reach out if something spikes you and you want to have a chat. Let's go. Let's do it. Thanks for being here, Dad. Here in my studio.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, everybody, thank you for listening. I really appreciate all the emails and the texts and the correspondence you guys have been reaching out to me, especially since we started really changing the format and making it very purposeful. And having my dad on, and having really high level guests, and having Meredith on, and the episodes that Aaron and I are doing together, we see that it's working because you're reaching out. So thank you so much for doing that. Thanks for downloading. Our numbers are off the charts. We're doing really well, and we love this. I mean, it's as authentic as we can get it, because this is us. This is what we love to do.
Yeah,
love to share.
I love to hear from you.
Yeah. So thanks for being here, Dad. And we'll have another episode in December. Yeah, so this episode is going to air on the 30th, and we'll have another episode in December, and then just keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, you want to come back for this episode.
Yeah.
And it gets really, there's a lot of drama.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks again for listening to the Men on Purpose podcast, where our mission is to educate, elevate, and activate every man to truly live their best, most fulfilling life possible. To find out more about the podcast, our guests, or becoming a man on purpose, visit menonpurposepodcast.com and choose your most purposeful path forward.